food. It nourishes us, sustains us, and satisfies us. The relationship we have with food is perhaps the oldest, most intimate connection we have with anything on the planet. We can't live without it.
Thank you.
But how often do we really think about where it comes from? We've come a long way from our beginnings as a hunter-gatherer society. The fact is, our civilization would never have evolved at all if we hadn't begun to cultivate plants and domesticate animals. The process is called agriculture, and the people involved in that process are called farmers.
Barefoot on the rocks, beside the rippling stream, I take a break from traveling.
This is the Peace River region of British Columbia, the last agricultural frontier in North America.
We enjoy it, we enjoy the farm.
There's a certain life that goes with farming, and that's sort of a choice of being natural, living off the land.
I just don't want to live anywhere else but the Peace.
I'll be out there in the fields, no fence of cattle then, plowing up a garden patch, building a chicken pen, raising up my family, grown tall like the weed. There's no place that I would rather be, living in the quiet of the peace.
The Peace River region of British Columbia is the most northern agricultural area in Canada, and farming is one of the main industries, alongside the forest and the gas and oil industries. The area lies just east of the Northern Rockies, and with its clean air, pristine lakes and rivers, forests and prairie lands, claims almost 22% of British Columbia. The area also holds 32% of the provincial agricultural land reserve, of which approximately 1 million acres is in production.
One of the things I noticed when I moved up to the Peace was that I was dealing with a lot of farmers who had cleared their own land and who had developed their farms basically from nothing, and having a vision for the future, seeing it in their mind and then making it happen.
When I came here, we had no roads, we had no telephone, we had no power. I just loved it, you know. I mean, you had to use your own resources.
The pioneering spirit is still very much alive in the Peace. It's one of the last areas left in the world that still has that old homesteading atmosphere. Settlers first arrived to farm the Peace as recently as 1920, when the Second Canadian Homestead Act offered prairie farmers land in the Peace River block. When the railroad arrived in the early 30s, the area went on to become the largest inland grain shipping point in Canada. Today, the three main communities supporting agriculture are Dawson Creek, mile 0 of the Alaska Highway, Fort St. John, and Chetwynd, with a total population base of approximately 60,000. Compared to the rest of British Columbia, the Peace region is unique because of its open prairie farmland.
Also because of our northern climate, we can grow crops that you wouldn't expect perhaps to find this far north. And that's due mainly to the long sunshine days that we have in the spring and summertime. So crops will mature here that you perhaps wouldn't expect to.
These long, warm summer days allow more than 1,700 farms to produce everything from grains, oilseeds and fescue, to tremendous forage crops resulting in a vital livestock industry. Peace Region agriculture is diversifying to supply new markets with honey and wax products, organic grains and vegetables, unconventional livestock, value-added products to, well, just about everything. This is the breadbasket of British Columbia, and it produces some of the finest agricultural products in the world. British Columbia's Peace River area produces the largest volume of grain grown in the province, the most common of which is wheat, with about 125,000 acres grown each year, representing between 90 and 95% of British Columbia's total production. Virtually all of the canola in the province is produced here, with a total of 100,000 acres of the yellow-flowered oilseed grown annually. Oats, barley, and an increasing acreage of field peas are the other major field crops grown in the region. Farms in the Peace range in size from 160 acres or 1/4 section to several sections of land. The Gladys family farm just north of Fort St. John is on the larger end of the scale, with about 6,000 acres under cultivation. Two brothers, Gene and Jack Gladys, and their families are involved in this second-generation grain farming operation.
One thing about farming, grain farming, you get a chance to do a lot of different things, run a lot of different equipment, and I enjoy that, you know, big equipment, and also putting the seed in the ground and watching it grow and trying to get the best out of it. In the spring when we're seeding, everybody has their job, and we kind of move from field to field, and we try to average around 300 acres a day seeded. Like the seeder goes every day, and we only run one seeder, so we try to average around 300 acres a day. So out of the 6,000 acres, we usually seed a third split, barley, wheat, and canola. The harvest is usually that's your bread and butter. That if you don't get after it during the harvest, you really, that month or whatever in the fall, that's basically your year there. So we go as hard as we can, for the harvest. But if we get an early start, like say middle of August, you can get a chance to enjoy it. My brother Jack, he runs a combine, and he basically looks after the combine end of it, setting them and in the field we've got, radio communication between the trucks and combines. I run a truck and I look after that end of it, putting grain into bins and which bins and so forth.